Hello, my name is Lucas, this is Bitoflit, and I'm here uh, to talk about Volume 2 of a trilogy of 5 for Douglas Adams' The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, which is the sequel to The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is a wild romp of science fiction and humor and all sorts of delights like that. When I read it earlier this year, I believe, or maybe at the end of last year, I can't remember when I read the first volume, but it was my second time reading it. This is my first time reading this. And I remember thinking that it would work much better as a radio program, which it was turned into. And so was this, from what I understand. Maybe all of his work was for this series. And I maintain that it would still work best as a radio program. I think the kind of zany humor used in this book would be much funnier to, hear somebody telling you about rather than reading it. Although it is still great fun. It's sort of not my style. But if I were to enjoy something like this, to let loose, for example, just to chill out and not read such heavy-duty material, I would listen to this. It sounds like fun. So this follows just after the crew on the Heart of Gold have left the planet where the mice were, and we find Zaphod really wants to find out what the ultimate question is, because the ultimate question was Earth, which was a computer program simulation type of thing that was going to come to its conclusion, but the Vogons destroyed it right before it was able to create the answer that would give the final the questions to life, the universe, and everything, which is, of course, 42. Before that, Zaphod has a kind of seance to bring, like, his great-grandfather. There's a lot of time travel in this story, and it's a bit much for me. But he brings out his grandfather, and he goes looking for this guy called Zarne Whoop, I believe. His grandfather tells him he needs to find the leader of the universe. And of course, eventually when they do, the leader of the universe is in a room, and he doesn't know that he's the leader. He doesn't really believe that anything outside of his room is real, let alone any of his surroundings, which is quite funny. But there's a point where, of course, they come to the restaurant at the end of the universe, and there's all kinds of really weird things going on there, man. There's a cow that walks up and is like, "What would you like to eat? What part of me would you like to eat? Would you like maybe my shoulder or something like that?" There's a lot of really funny little bits. All these asides about different cultures on different planets and how they formed. Really funny thought experiments. And by the end, we do learn what the ultimate question was, because the ultimate question is deeply buried into the brainwaves of Arthur. And Marvin has known that the whole time, who is, again, the best character in the whole book. Marvin has known it the whole time, but nobody ever asked him, of course. And they figure out what it is, and it's quite anticlimactic and extremely silly. Again, really not my taste personally. I don't even think the radio program, if it does exist for this, would save it for me. I kind of don't like that, so I have mixed feelings about it. yeah, because it's just so anticlimactic and silly. And I was hoping for more. I mean, hoping for something more silly that was sort of a more developed joke. Of course, there is the joke running through. That is, maybe the question is, what is 6 times 7? And you can imagine where, this leads to other things going on later. But anyway, I look forward to, I don't really have much else to say. I really enjoy the total perspective vortex, which like warps your mind because you are omniscient and it just fries your brain, but it doesn't do much to Zaphod. That's probably my favorite part, or the restaurant at the end of the universe. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the ending. Arthur throws away his Hitchhiker's Guide, and he's in a totally different time. I mean, the things that they plan to do to try to get to the ultimate question faster for evolution, we'll say, or that Arthur plans on doing, obviously doesn't come to fruition in any way, but it's quite funny. There's a lot of humor, of course, but yeah, I don't really care for this one. I think it's much weaker. But I look forward to Volume 3 eventually. Hopefully it will change my mind on this series. Thank you.